Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to World Boxing Online. My name is Leonard Gibbons, boxing historian from 1974. Today I'd like to talk to you about all the great boxing contenders from 1960 to 1980. Men who has fought for the world heavyweight title, men who didn't get a title shot. I have to give those guys credit as a boxing historian because if those guys are around today, within the last, say, 20, 30 years after boxing being fragmented with so many different belts, those guys would have definitely been world champion. I'm talking in the 60s, people like Eddie Machin, Zora Foley, Cleveland Williams, Leotis Martin, Brian London, Henry Cooper, Jerry Corey, Oscar Bonavina, Carl Mindenberger, George Travalo. Those guys, some of them had a title shot and didn't win the title. Some didn't get a title shot at all. Those guys had to fight their way to the top by fighting each other to face the world heavyweight champion at that particular time. If you look at the 70s, you got people like Jimmy Young, Al Blue Lewis, Richard Dunn, Joe Bugner, Bernie Shavers, Ron Lyle, Joachim Bin, Rudy Lubbers, Terry Daniels, Ron Standers, Dwayne Bobick. Now, in my eyes, now for all those guys would have been around within the law boxing in the last, say, 30 years, some form of world title win as heavyweight champion. It's just unfortunate for them that there was two belts at a particular time, WBA and WBC. The champion, the heavyweight champion, whoever there was, like Ali, Larry Holmes, George Foreman, Joe Frazier, whoever these guys were fighting, were all undisputed world heavyweight champion at the time. The belt got fragmented in 1978 when Leon Spinks refused to fight Ken Norton, and Ken Norton became WBC world heavyweight champion, first man to get the belt on paper. So I give my hat off to all the guys from 1960 to 1980. As I said, the toughest era in my eyes in world heavyweight boxing. That's when all the big guys came along. And a matter of fact, in the 60s, Ali and Floyd Patterson was the smallest heavyweights. But when you look it down all the way down to Charles Sonny Liston, Henry Cooper, Leotis Martin, Joe Frazier, Oscar Bonavina, George Travalo, those was big guys. They entered in the 1970s. People like Joe Frazier, Leroy Jones, Ken Norton, Larry Holmes, Richard Dunn, Joe Bugner. Those guys coming over 200 and something pounds. But I lay my hat off and I give due credit to all the top contenders, the world heavyweight contenders. As I said, from 1960 to 1980, some had a world title shot, some didn't. George Travalo, he had a world title shot in 1960. Well, in the 1960s, 66 against Muhammad Ali. Zora Foley got a world title shot. Henry Cooper got a world title shot. So Brian London also got a world title shot in the 60s. Carl Mindenberger. Well, when you look at people like Leotis Martin, Jerry Corey, Pat Spencer, those guys was all good contenders and they didn't get a world title shot. In the 1970s, people like Richard Dunn, Joe Bugner, Ron Lyle, Jimmy Young, those guys got a world title shot. But when you look at the people like Rudy Lubbers, Joachim Bin, Mac Foster, Al Blue Lewis, in the 70s, all those guys was contenders and they didn't get a world title shot. So I would like to say, as a boxing fan, I lay my hat off to all the top contenders from 1960 to 1980. And those guys deserve my credit and my respect as a boxing historian, because I look at some of those guys' fights and to know that in this time, in this era, they would have been world champion at different form of belts. Some could have been a WBO world champion, which I regard as a boxing historian as the weakest of the belts. But as the sport goes, when you got a world championship belt, it's a world championship belt. But to me, the most prestige belt as a boxing historian is the WBA and the WBC. To me, as a boxing historian. So thank you all my boxing fans all over the world, and hope you enjoy World Boxing Online. And I said, my name is Leonard Gibbons, and this is the history of all the top contenders from 1960 to 1980. Thank you very much.